Hey, Latinos in Clinical Research, welcome back. The very special episode. We have our very own brand ambassador, Christine Naro, on the show today. We got a lot to talk about. Christine has a study coordinator background. She just got hired for a sponsor. We can't say who or what. I actually don't even remember, but it's an exciting opportunity that she has. And she knows a whole lot about the site level, and now she's going to get to know much more about the sponsor side of things and how Latinos and minority participation and disparities and all that stuff kind of fits in. So I'm really excited for you, Christine. Christine's been very active on Clubhouse as well. She's been very helpful getting the Guru Nation brand built on Clubhouse. And we plan, actually, Latinos in Clinical Research planning on doing a weekly Clubhouse under Guru Nation brand too. So I'm looking forward to that. So welcome, Christine. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be a brand ambassador for Latinos in Clinical Research.
We couldn't have had a better one. We're very lucky. I'm sure Ashley, Monica, and Judy all agree. It's only been a month, and you've already done like so much activity for us. So we thank you very much for your hard work and dedication.
Thank you.
Awesome. Especially with Slack. That was a really great idea.
And that sponsor that shall remain nameless, you're getting somebody really good. You guys don't even know what you're getting. Right? You guys don't even know. So Christine, and then the other gals from LICR, Monica, Ashley, Judy, you guys feel free to ask questions. But Christine, give us a little bit of background on yourself, especially your time as a study coordinator.
Sure. So I got into clinical research in ophthalmology because the Air Force trained me to become an optometry tech. So I went into optometry and then I got into ophthalmology and then eventually into clinical research at an ophthalmology practice. And so I got to work at two multi-specialty sites, which was really exciting. And in San Antonio, we have a lot of diversity. So I was able to also support our site by providing Spanish translation to some of our patients. And it was really exciting to build those relationships with them and realize how important it is to speak their language and provide that service to them in a good bedside manner, to not only people that speak English, but also Spanish. And so I thought that was really important. So when I came across Dan, I knew that he was a clinical trials guru, but I didn't know he was building Latinos in clinical research. And so, how exciting to become a part of this organization and your efforts. And so, yeah, so that's a little bit about me and what I've done.
Thank you. So do you have any, like, when you were coordinating and you had like primarily Spanish speakers, did you run into, and this is an issue that Judy is very passionate about, did you run into, and how did you overcome language barrier issues, especially as it pertains to informed consent?
So during the informed consent, of course, just like sitting down with the patients and breaking it down to them at their level. I do know Spanish, but I'm not very fluent when it comes to medical terms. So also like myself, not knowing the medical jargon, I think kind of helped a little bit in a way, right? Because you want them to understand what the informed consent means. And so reading through it and learning medical terms with the patients really helped them understand as well as myself. So I got to learn a lot of terms and stuff like that, but really giving them a little bit more one-on-one, because even though you might not be on the study that another coordinator has, you can still provide assistance by translating for them, and just seeing them get excited about having somebody that speaks their language at the site and that can translate what the doctor says and what the techs are saying and how they really feel makes them feel better. Here in Texas, we have a lot of like people that speak strictly Spanish, but they can understand English. And so they know when you're translating what they're saying and it makes them feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And how long did you spend at that site as a coordinator? Was it just one site, or did you do like a few sites?
I did two. So I spent about 2 to 3 years at the first. And then I had worked at the other one previously, but as a coordinator, it was about 6 months.
And were they both ophthalmology?
Yes.
Ah, okay. And the sponsor you're working with, I don't know if you can share, but are they ophthalmology?
It is going to be eye related.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Awesome.
That's a growing area of research. I know that right now that's a growing area of research, ophthalmology, and I actually regret not getting more experience in that myself. Monica, you've been trying to get us studies like this for a while.
Yeah, and I actually met 2 ophthalmologists that are interested in that. So
Let's
we'll
do
see.
it. If we have any questions, we'll hit up Christine on Clubhouse.
Yeah, now I
Inquisitive
know.
Christine. What is how many people, be honest, how many people have hit you up for Clubhouse invites since you become a brand ambassador? Can you count
Well,
on 2 hands or more?
more. I was keeping track at first, but then I said I can't keep track anymore.
It's a good sign.
You
That's a
should
good
have kept
sign.
track. All those
That's
people are
great.
gonna owe you favors now. Like, was it less than 100?
I'd say close to it.
Wow,
Dang.
that's
You
awesome. And you
see?
started.
How do you
Wow.
get that many invites? I only have 8.
I was, just asking them to recycle their invites. So like you get 2 when you get on, and so just asking like, can you share one of your invites? And so yeah.
I got an
Awesome.
idea for you off air. I'm gonna tell. I already told you. I think you need to do it. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Wow, so secretive.
We don't want to give people the idea, Monica. Not you guys, but people watching.
After
I know,
recording,
I'm just
let us
kidding.
know. So Christine, I'm personally, I'm interested in the fact that excuse me, you're a mother, you're a clinical researcher, you are now an ambassador, you were looking for work at the same time, and on top of that, I mean, you were providing us contacts. You were being, a very valuable, obviously valuable asset to Latinos in clinical research, while also, getting out there and kind of creating your own brand. I like to tell some of my clients that I have that you can literally just start on your own, right? So what, push that forward to really make you just reach out and start gaining this kind of momentum?
So I think just I'm a go-getter, and I think that comes from being in the military. As a reservist, they teach us a lot of things, core values. But when it comes to the civilian world, when you put those practices into play, it just kind of like takes you to another level, and it all depends on how you use it, right? I religiously listen to motivational speakers like Ed Milet and David Goggins. Those are my favorite.
David
And
Goggins,
so
awesome.
just putting that into action, like on a daily basis in your regular life, really helps. And then just setting goals for yourself. Like Ed says, like try to catch up to yourself in 10 years. So like 10 years, or no, I'm sorry, that was Matthew McConaughey, right? His famous speech. So like keep trying to chase that person that you are in 10 years. So in 10 years from now, my goals are going to be to become the next person that I want to be in the next 10 years,
Yeah.
right? So just always trying to catch up with your future self.
That's awesome. Super awesome. I like that a lot.
I have one question. And it's how many people in the site that you were working speak Spanish? How many study coordinators or members, staff of the sites?
So I think there was only one other one that was able to hold, her own when it came to speaking Spanish for research, because we did have a clinic overall, but research was just like an addition to the clinic. And so we had several sites, but we only did research on one site. So the last site I was at only had one other person, and she was unmasked. So she was able to translate in most cases.
I do have a question, because did you, as a study coordinator, so it's different, when you're probably more in an administration side of it, did you feel the studies that you guys worked on, did you always get Spanish material for your studies, or were there challenges working with the sponsor CROs that you were aware of as a study coordinator?
So to my knowledge, we always got translations. And so when I was listening to one of your webinars, I know you said that that was a challenge for you. And I didn't know that there are some sponsors that won't provide translations. I thought that was really interesting. And it made me, want to work with Latinos in clinical research even more, because that is important. And actually, I think I learned about that during the webinar where we were interviewing the other brand ambassador, right, Cassandra. And so I think that it's really important to overcome that challenge and maybe speak up and make other people more aware in the industry, but as well as patients, because patients also have a voice. And so if they want to be part of a trial and they say, I want this consent in Spanish, we have to be able to give them the power to bridge that gap between the patient and the sponsor. And so, yeah, but I haven't encountered that challenge myself.
That's good. I'm glad that you didn't have that challenge. I'm not familiar like with Dana Monica with ophthalmology studies, so I assume maybe there's not a bunch of assessments with them, which probably could be the reason it was a little easier to have the Spanish consent. But that's good. I'm glad to hear that you had a good experience with that.
Yeah, psych
Yeah.
is way complicated with all
Mhm.
those rating scales
For
and
sure.
certified translators.
Uh-huh.
Christine, how important is networking to you? Like
Oh,
you got the job. And by the way, Christine's a Patreon member, guys. I'll just do shameless plug. Patreon, good things happen. Good things happen. And Judy is too, actually. Judy and so good things happen, guys, when you're in the Patreon. But anyways, how important is networking? And Monica and I have a very good Clubhouse story to share, but what's a good thing? Because you've probably spent more time on Clubhouse than all of us here. What's one good thing that happened on Clubhouse to you so far? Like the best thing so far, even if it's not special, just like the best one you've had.
I think the best one would have to be connecting with other Latinos. And for example, I think you all met Herman, or a few people have spoken to him. And so
Yes,
just
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
you're welcome. Meeting people like Herman who like go out of their way to support Latinos and create businesses or services for Latinos is like really exciting. And then connecting Latinos in clinical research with them, like that's even more exciting, right? Because we all want to help each other out and get to the next level.
Awesome.
And give us a take, because we got a lot of career. Our next series, actually, here's a preview. You get your beaks wet, guys. You just a little appetizer. The main dish is coming. You gotta wait. You gotta go to latinosclinicalresearch.com and subscribe. But we'll give you appetizer. So career, all right. And we're planning on doing a Latinos in Clinical Research career coaching. But our next series on Zoom, we just finished the vaccine. Dr. Hazen and Dr. Al came through and basically said, look, the series is over after this. There's no need for any more.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
haven't seen it,
Go
go
learn.
watch it. I sent it to a lot of
Good.
people I know.
Yeah.
Very good.
But the next one's gonna be good too. I don't know if it'll be as dramatic, but it's gonna be about career. It's probably more lucrative for you guys' pockets, for your wallets. So Christine, walk us through, because I've known you since like what, January of this year, and it's only
Mhm.
March. Like I've only known you for like 2 months, right?
I feel like I've known you forever.
I know. I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah.
So in that time, you got hired. You actually got 2 job offers, and you got to let one of them know, hey, sorry. But walk us through that process, like the struggle, if there were any, and then like how you were feeling, what they asked you in the interviews, things like that, and then your thought process and all that kind of stuff.
Ooh,
Sure.
can I add a little bit to that so that you can mention how your networking with us was able to assist you in that process when it came to your decision, right? Because you had access to people.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
right.
So I also battled, with a lot of those struggles. And so definitely taking my CV, which was like about 6 pages, because my my first manager always told me, like, put everything on your CV. They want to know everything you've ever done. And I don't know if that makes the site look good, because they're in ophthalmology, like we're kind of a niche. So we have very specific talents that people are looking for, right? Like checking vision with ETDRS and how to check eye pressure and stuff like that, what have you. So taking my resume and turning it into something more broad, where I wasn't only focusing on my talents in ophthalmology, but also what I've done as a coordinator, and also like translational information, like leadership skills in the military, and writing them into a bullet format, which was less than 2 pages. That was very challenging, but you have to kind of listen to people when they give you advice on how to minimize your or condense your CV, I should say, because it's true. Like the human attention span is what, 7 seconds. So when people get your CV and it's 6 pages long, and they're not going to read the whole thing, so you have to really capture them with the first page, and then the second page maybe just add a little bit of more details where they may still read it, but definitely condensing your CV. And so my first interview was heartbreaking, right? Because I really wanted to work for a company. I was even considering moving, which would be tough for me because where I live, like my base is where I live. And so moving to a different city, like that was going to be a challenge. So maybe traveling back once a month to where I live, that would be a challenge, you know. But I was considering it because I was just wanting to break through into a CRO or a sponsor. And so it was a little bit heartbreaking when it came to that. And, but definitely reaching out to the network, like Dan and other people that have helped me. And also the Great Careers Network with Lynn Williams. She really helped me. She's based out of Pennsylvania, but she really gives a lot of tips on like how to improve your LinkedIn, how to network, how to reach out to other veterans and stuff like that. But overall, just like networking is your key to success when it comes to finding your next job. And being part of Latinos in Clinical Research, like just even going to the website to sign up and commenting like Dan says like all the time. And then Nadia has told me like people that create content, like not everybody's going to create content, so that really sets you apart. So I'm really excited that I've gotten to know everybody here, and I've gotten to bounce ideas off of your heads and kind of get a little bit of guidance, because it's scary. Like you don't always want to let your employer know when you're looking around, right? So just also like making friends with other people who are at more advanced levels, and they may not work for a company like the one you want to work for, but they may know things that people in your network don't know. And so just trying to make new connections and new friends that can give you more information is really the key to getting to the next level.
And then you ended up not just with one offer from one sponsor, but also one from a CRO. So you got the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a really hard decision. But you know, it just basically comes down to what's the best for you and also them, right? Who's going to put your skills to work? And so, yeah, so it's so exciting.
How many companies before you got offers from those two, like total, including those two, how many companies did you have interviews with?
Interviews with, I think like, well, are you including like phone interviews? Probably
Yeah.
like around 10.
10, and you got two offers?
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. So, and people would kill for those two offers that you got. And see, this is where this, guys, I tell you guys, the cream rises to the top. You can't just do, if you want abnormal results, you've got to do abnormal action. You can't do what everyone else does. Here's what everyone else does when they want a job. Dear sir / madam, here is my resume. And then they write like 5 paragraphs, life story, and then their resume in a Word document. Who's gonna, that's normal. That's normal. And you're gonna get normal results if you do that. Abnormal is what Christine does. Let me put you in touch with someone. Let me give you a Clubhouse invite. Let me jump on
Yeah.
this comment. Let me like, let me share, let me talk, let me help others. That's abnormal, guys. Plus, it doesn't hurt that you have a CRC background. I mean, I knew when I first talked to you, it's not going to take long, and it didn't. It took like a month and a half, right? If that.
I mean, a perfect example too, I would say, is that, like, for instance, when we've Latinos in Clinical Research, we've had a webinar. One of the first ones, two people said, "Hey, I'm looking for work," and there was two sites that were actually on the call that said, "Hey, well, give us your information," right? Just because they showed up, they let people know, they put themselves out there. The same thing too on the Clubhouse. Another night, we were talking to Lindsay, and somebody said, "Hey, I know this girl, she's looking for work. Do you have anything or any advice?" Lindsay is huge. She's super huge in, I don't know what, I think Midwest region throughout the whole US. And so in recruitment. And so, I mean, if you're going to do things like Christine, right, you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to get in contact, you're going to be connected with people that are either going to see your potential and want to help you and get you those contacts, or they're going to be the contacts you make. And so, I mean, so long as you push out there and actually put yourself out there, these kinds of things will happen, right? Like Christine, you're a perfect example.
Thank you. And I think Dan's right. Like, when it comes to like reciprocating, help and stuff like that, like the more people you help, the more people are going to want to help you. And so that's always good advice.
Exactly.
Absolutely. My pet peeve is when people put limits on themselves and they, in their mind, they read a job description and they decide, nobody else, they decided that they're not qualified. And like perfect example on our Latinos in clinical research, we have job postings, and make sure you check this page, guys. So sometimes they're very descriptive job descriptions, and sometimes it's like a sentence. It says clinical research coordinator needed Chicago, or clinical research coordinator needed Ventura. And then I'm hearing from Ashley, people emailing Ashley like, hey, Ashley, I need more info. Guys, by the time you get more info, they're gonna hire people. You don't need more info. You need to talk to those
Just
people
apply.
on there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm noticing people are afraid because they read something like that and they default to I'm not qualified. And I think you're going to lose. That's a losing strategy. The reason sometimes these job descriptions are just one sentence is because they want to scare people like you from applying. It's called a filter.
I remember
So
the first
congrats,
time
you just helping them out.
remember when I first started applying, I literally applied to jobs that I didn't even read. I was just like, okay, applying. Literally, it was just, I think in 1 hour, I pushed out
Exactly.
like 30 applications because I didn't care. I just wanted an interview. That's it. So yeah.
Another thing I notice is that people they'll just read the job description and then they see a recruiter, but then they say, okay, well, I'm not qualified for that one. So they don't even talk to their recruiter. Do you realize recruiter, what they do? Their job is to get people hired. That's not their only job. Like that's not the only thing they're hiring for. They have other jobs. And even if they don't, you should get to know them. Start networking. They need to know who you are. I'm sure all the recruiters now, at least the ones on LinkedIn and Clubhouse, know who Christine is.
So I have one
the,
last. Oh, sorry. You go for it, Monica.
the worst enemy people have is self-rejection, and then thinking that if they send 100 CVs, then they're going to get 100 phone calls. And it's not the case. It's just like it has to be the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Monica, Judy, we've been doing this for like 15 years.
Oh gosh,
Us,
yeah.
right? More maybe. If we applied right now to our own job title, like site director, it would take us at least 20 applications to probably even get a callback.
But I probably wouldn't even go there. I just go through all my LinkedIn contacts and contact every single
Ooh.
person that I'm looking for a job and connect and maybe get hired that way. I don't know. That's fine.
Exactly. It's
Well, that's
easier.
that's
It's less
yes.
hassle.
That's smart. That's
I'd go
smart.
a whole different route.
I would
That's
too. I would
exactly
too. But
right.
like,
Yeah,
think
me
about it.
too.
You know, let's say we applied right now
Yeah,
to
that's
20
true.
site director. We would maybe get like 2 calls if we're lucky.
Most
And then we
likely.
would interview, and then we're all competing
Mhm.
against each other because they're interviewing all 3 of us, and they're like, I like Judy a little bit better than Dan. He's kind of a jerk. Or I like Monica, because she could speak Spanish. So like, it's never about you guys. It's always about what they need, and
What they want.
it's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
reflection on your net worth as a human being.
True,
Yeah,
but
if I was
think.
going,
Oh no,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I was going to say, just to add to that, I think a lot of people are afraid to do it because they're afraid of that rejection, as you guys mentioned. And it's okay to get no. It's okay to get no 10, 20 times. Guess what? We get no for everything else we do in this industry. And it's okay. Keep trying, because eventually when you find the right job and the right person, that's the one that's meant for you. So just keep trying.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. And you can offer a lot of things like Julie was saying, through even LinkedIn. If you see a site that you have interest on, you can offer something like, I could recruit for you. I can do your source documents. I can, I don't know, who knows? I can make phone calls for you. I can write down the pre-screening.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many things that you could do, and I'm sure in some point you're gonna get the yes.
Yep. And so if you look at like a job board like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, you're going to notice job recruiters on there. Do you know how many people go that route and spam them with their resumes, but then those same exact job recruiters are on LinkedIn and they just posted something they think is thoughtful and nobody comments, nobody shares, maybe a few people like. So, what would you rather be? Like another one of many CVs in the inbox, or somebody that is going to comment on one of their posts? Now they're going to like at least know who you are. Isn't that the goal of a resume, just to get you to the interview? So
Exactly.
you can just bypass that with LinkedIn. Nobody's doing it. We can take it a step further and go to Clubhouse. Even less people are doing it there.
Yeah.
Guys, it's 2021. Wake up.
I know.
So
So
can
we
I add to
actually
that?
we actually
Yeah.
have a story about the clubhouse with Dan. That I don't know if Christina and Ash remember that I think like a week
Judy
ago.
would like this story too. It might convince you to get an iPhone.
Yes,
Oh no, what's
a
the
week
story?
ago. A week ago, we were in the clubhouse, and then one doctor that actually he started following Dan in YouTube,
Oh,
and he saw that Dan was doing the clubhouse, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna join and see what happens."
Yeah, he's a
And
foreign
then,
doctor. Foreign doctor.
yeah, and then he came, and he wanted to. He raised the hand to be introduced, and then he started saying, "I'm a doctor. I speak Spanish. I speak Cambodian. Imagine, and English. I'm looking for a job in clinical trials. I've been learning about all the process with Dan videos. He barely knows, he barely knew nothing about research until he found Dan's videos. And now it's been only like a week or 2 weeks, and he has 5 job offers.
Wow.
wow.
But because he found about research through Dan, he actually is gonna be with us now,
Yay.
and we
That's
Awesome.
actually
awesome.
need him because he speaks Spanish.
Oh, for one of your
And
sites.
For one of
For
our
one of-
sites, he
Oh,
happened to be in
okay.
Orange
Oh,
County.
Oh.
He was in Orange
wow.
County. And you know what? His
Does he
wife,
want to? Does he want to commute to Imperial County? No.
probably,
you have
probably.
no idea.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? And his wife is a licensed nurse practitioner.
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
And so we're gonna work
She's for the
husband and
price point.
wife. Now we're gonna make a series on that husband and wife.
Yeah,
interview. We gotta
that's
do that.
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
And the
that's a
wife
Clubhouse
speaks
story.
Mandarin.
Wow.
The
wow.
wife speaks Mandarin. So,
Oh,
So
wow.
Judy, you're gonna get an
we hit the
iPhone.
jackpot.
Let me think about that.
Yeah.
But I do need an investigator,
Come to
so
the
I
dark
might.
side,
I
Judy.
might.
Come to the dark side.
That's right. So yeah, that's a good example, Monica. Thank you for
That's
that.
cool.
Any other questions you guys have for Christine? She's like amazing.
I actually did. I wanted, Christine, so you were saying, you're a go-getter, and now that you got what you wanted, right? You're going to be with the sponsor, which is great because not a lot of people get that right out of the bat. And the fact that, you're already linked with Latinos in clinical research, you're making a name for yourself out there in the industry. What, as a female Latina, coming into a big sponsor, what's, aside from doing an amazing job, which I know you'll do, what's your mission to bring to that organization, and how you're going to represent the Latino community and bringing awareness to them? Because I think every sponsor can bring more awareness, to get more awareness, learn more.
Sure. So I'm gonna have to go to you and maybe get some of your recommendations because I know that you've been a forefront for your company. But I do want to go in there with a goal to support their diversity and inclusion group because they do have one already. But I probably need to ask some questions and get to know a little bit more about it, and then possibly collaborate and see if they'll come on, with Latinos in clinical research and see what kind of programs we can create together and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But I
Awesome.
did want to add, so earlier, Dan, you started talking about LinkedIn, and I wanted to add some information to that because you asked me about my experience. And so I didn't really go into this, but a recruiter actually found me. And it was only after getting over 500 followers. Supposedly, like, the system won't even recognize you if you don't
Yeah.
get over that. And so I definitely worked really hard to increase my connections. And then he reached out to me. It was supposed to be a 6-month contract, but it turned into a full-time position.
Awesome.
And so that's really exciting. So some advice that I have for people out there is to treat your LinkedIn like your resume. It really is. And so make sure that it's really nice and polished. You have a really good photo. There's apps or websites that you can use for free to change up your photo to make it look more presentable, and then create the banner, because your keywords at the top of your banner will definitely capture, the attention of those people looking for you. And so then also, like, your information about the jobs that you worked at, don't just put the company, definitely add a little bit more information there, because you want to make sure that they know what your skills are and what you can bring to the table, because it really is like your resume. And then getting on Clubhouse, like, there are people from all over, and you can connect with these people during Clubhouse and possibly have your connection right there, and without having to go through the interview process. You're skipping the line. You're literally skipping the line when you do those
Yeah,
things.
no.
So
That's a great, excellent. Thank you for the LinkedIn thing too, because I think people spend too much time worrying about their resume and how many people they're emailing on Indeed. And if they spent like half of that time on LinkedIn or Clubhouse, it would be way more productive. Like, look at this. I'm on there right now. I mean, go ahead, Judy. Or somebody was talking.
No, I was
Yeah,
gonna say that's actually true. I didn't start using LinkedIn till, honestly, I think last year, when Dan started having those monthly meetups during COVID, way before, we started the whole Latinos.
Judy, those are daily. Those are
Oh, they were
daily.
daily. That's right. They were like week. Yeah, several times a day.
You were
Well,
on
anyways,
monthly. Those were daily. We were
yeah, I was
struggling over there.
on.
We were
Well,
struggling.
I started using it more. I had it. I just never used it like you guys are talking about. And then actually been using it more the past couple months, because I'm looking for investigator and LFMT, a rater for to be a rater for assessments. So, and I've actually started to get some response, more than I think like Indeed or these other job postings, which are very pricey, by the way, every time you
Yeah.
post something.
Very pricey.
And
I think LinkedIn's better. Like, to pay LinkedIn Premium is better than to pay for Indeed.
Right.
Yeah, and you know that one of my students, she lives in a very rural area, so she was wondering how to get a job in that area. So I was trying to look for a way to help her, and then I found out that LinkedIn has this in the icon, in the job icon, you can locate where you want them to give you like the alerts for job opportunities in that area. And I helped her to find a job in a rural area because I put it for like I was looking for a job, and it was giving me all the alerts on all the job offers near here. So I think that's actually really good too for people that wants to specifically target one area. You can put I mean, obviously the career that you're looking for, and then or the position, and then in which state or which city, and you will get the alerts for that.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Super important. And look, guys, I'm randomly on Clubhouse right now. Look at what's going on. MedTech Lobby, 24/7 equality, equity, leadership with science emojis. Listen, let's just take a listen.
I think our prior administration
I'm about to raise
could
my hand.
definitely be eviscerated for many things. And
Look at this guy talking.
So,
Gordon, let me look
but
at his
the one
profile.
thing
So this is
Co-founder
like
of a think tank.
Live.
Co-founder of a think tank that executes in Atlanta. These are tech,
That's massive.
healthcare,
Wow.
tech people.
Wait,
Guys,
which one is that one, Dan? Hold on.
I could literally raise my hand right now and talk to him and say, "Hey, you're live on the Zoom. Can you say
That's
something?" But
MedTech.
seriously, guys, you can talk. There's only like 30 people in that room. You can raise your
Wow.
hand and just talk and
24/7
say, "Hey, this is my story,"
I found it.
just like the other guy did.
What's
That's
the name?
awesome. MedTech
MedTech.
24/7 lobby.
But we have better. Go to Guru Nation's better.
Yes. We have those every Friday, you guys, and soon to be, we're coming up with the date for Latinos in clinical
Yeah,
research.
Rod, Judy, actually, you could, I mean, this is not even to try to sell you on Clubhouse, but Rod is, oh, but you're one of our clients. So yeah, you'll get the studies anyways. Rod Raphael, the site owner in Indiana, he has on Thursday nights, so tonight at 5, a Clubhouse for other site owners where we share study leads with one another. So,
Oh, cool.
you know, that'll eventually end up trickling back down to the DSC site network. But yeah, Clubhouse is great. LinkedIn,
That's cool.
Clubhouse. That's the way to get things done these days. Just look at Christine. That's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
It's really
Awesome.
fun, and you'll be surprised. You got to get on there and figure out what kind of rooms you want to get into, right? Because like they even have other rooms like for veterans. They have other rooms for like motivation in the morning. They have talks about starting to work out again after COVID. Like whatever you're interested in, I'm sure it's there.
I saw one for humor. So if you want to listen to, very interesting. I mean, obviously very funny.
Awesome.
So thank you guys. Any more questions for Christine?
No, just keep doing what you're
No.
doing.
Yeah.
Are you now? I know you'll be starting your job soon. Are you gonna still be able to do all that stuff? Because you're very involved with, like you mentioned, Clubhouse. Are you gonna be able to do
Oh
all
yeah,
that and
good
continue with
question.
it?
Good
Yeah,
question.
because I know
Time
once
management.
you have training. I assume you got to do and stuff when you start. Yeah, how's that
Right.
go?
I'm gonna have to definitely work on a schedule, right, and get on track with that. But after hours, I think that I will be able to do it.
It's totally doable.
Yeah.
Time management,
Mhm.
totally doable.
Yeah, you'll only miss a few emails here and there, like me and
Like me now
Ashley.
recently, I'm not used to it, and it started to happen. I'm like, wow,
Yeah, but
crazy.
good problems to have. So congrats, Christine. We're
Yeah,
definitely gonna
best
have
of
you on
luck.
again. You're the
Mhm.
ambassador. Early group of ambassadors. It's you, Cassandra, and Carlos. All C's. We got three
Oh
ambassadors, all
wow,
named C, triple C.
wow,
Carlos,
that's
Christine, Cassandra.
interesting.
Yeah, Carlos,
Oh.
another good story. He's a coordinator. He was the Dr. Hazen's coordinator. Sorry, Dr. Hazen, but IKEVIA saw him on LinkedIn. He said
Wow.
he put that he's Latinos in research on his LinkedIn something, or he commented or something, and IKEVIA recruiter saw him because the algorithm pushed it up, right?
Wow.
Because he was on LinkedIn, but he wasn't using it. But then because of Latino, he commented or did something, and then an IKEVIA recruiter saw him, say, "Who is this guy? He's got like 10 years of coordinating experience. We need a CRA, and let's offer him an offer he can't refuse, like Godfather."
Wow.
And before we end it,
Pretty
I
cool.
think just to add to what you just said, we've been having meetings with vendor CROs and stuff. We've actually been realizing that they already know us prior to us going into or like meeting with them. So that lets you know, for example, with Carlos, that they're watching our feeds, they're seeing who's getting involved. So all the more reason for you to be a part of that group and to be involved and to be interactive.
Especially
And
when we're new, like we're small. So it's
That
just
easy
like
access.
anything. When you're an original, like early person to join something, the benefits are exponentially greater or disproportionate than later on, and then that'll be our job to keep the quality of the product. But right now we're so young, that's not a problem.
Mhm.
We're a new
Yeah.
organization, but we've
Yeah.
all been in the field for a while. So we bring a lot of
Yeah.
experience and
Very good
background.
mix. Very good
Yes,
mix.
exactly.
So what you
Awesome.
need to do is subscribe in our website, and then if you want to get the exposure, put this beautiful logo in your LinkedIn.
That's true. Or comment on one of our posts or share it, because recruiters, the algorithm works, guys. Like that's how it works.
Mhm.
That's we didn't invent social media. That's how they decided it works.
And plus, being associated to an organization that is working towards diversity, it seems really, really good in your CV too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Let's not forget that, more data is better for, better results and, more effective medications where we know what's going to happen to everybody, no matter
Mhm.
what background they are. So that's
Oh
also
yeah,
the
that's the
important.
the main purpose. Yes.
Right. We're trying to
Awesome.
contribute to better treatments to help others, and especially all communities, right? Like the smaller ones, rural ones, more options. Mhm.
Absolutely. So thank you guys. Thank you, Christine, very much. We're
Okay,
gonna have
thank you,
links to
Christine.
Christine's LinkedIn underneath. And thank you, Ashley, Monica, and Judy. And thank you all for watching and
Thank you.
listening. And we'll catch you all later. Bye bye.